Clear. Perfect. So just make sure it's all right. Okay, thank you for joining us today. This is ANC 5B's November public meeting. It is 7:01 p.m. We're going to go ahead and commence. In order to commence this meeting, we'll go ahead and I'll do a call to order, which I stated at 7:01 p.m. and we'll start with a roll call. With that being said, we'll confirm the commissioners that are here and go about today's meeting, which we hope to be a short one. 5D01.
Here.
5D02. 5D0. 5D03.
There.
5D04. Here. 5D05 present. 5D06.
Present.
5D07. I don't see them present at this time. 5D08. I don't see them present at this time. And 5D09.
Here.
Perfect. Okay, so we have quorum tonight, so any action items that we have, we're able to move forward and vote on. With that being said, I'll move to the adoption of the agenda. We do have some amendments tonight for the agenda. And I'll go ahead and state them so we can clearly get through some of them. And then if there's any commissioners that would like to make amendments or additions, please feel free to do so. I will like to I move that we remove voting action item after protest letter, Pro Social LLC from tonight's agenda. Can I get a second on this motion? Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. All in favor of this amendment, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I also move that we amend the agenda by moving trash cleanup supplies item under the consent calendar to a voting action item. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. All in favor of moving the consent calendar item trash cleanup supplies to voting action item, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. Are there any other amendments to tonight's agenda? Not, I think I have one. I make a motion that we add a 5-minute recess at 8:30 for folks to drink water, move their cars if they're parked in the free parking garage. Just for 5 minutes. It won't affect tonight's meeting that much. I move that we amend the agenda to include this recess. Can I get a second on this motion? Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. Thank you, sister. All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Perfect. Thank you. Are there any other changes to tonight's agenda, commissioners? Okay. With that being said, I move that we adopt tonight's agenda as amended. Can I get a second on this motion? Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of adopting tonight's agenda with the amendment, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. With that being said, we have the adoption of the minutes. These minutes were shared 7 days in advance of tonight's meeting. They are prepared by our admin and will be signed by myself and Commissioner Rollin, who's our secretary. Commissioner Rollin, you can make the motion to adopt the minutes.
I move to adopt the minutes.
For the
For the month of,
October.
October, sorry.
You're good. We have a motion on the floor. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. All in favor of adopting the minutes from October's public meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. With that being said, we have our treasurer's report by Commissioner McRae, Treasurer.
Should I just speak out loud?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All right.
I switched the batteries and they're also not working, so I'm not sure if the batteries are bad or the mic's bad.
Yes.
They changed one.
All right. Just want to check that folks online can hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can. I just want to make sure.
Yes. In the
All right.
chat. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you so much for confirming. All right, hang on 1 second. All right, so I'm about to share my screen. All right, So for the month of October, we had a beginning balance of $49,324.77. And we had an ending balance of $38,508.40. Some of the, sorry about that, moving too fast. Some of the purchases that we made in the month of October, were for personnel for our admin. We had a communication community space. We made a grant payment to the weekly scope for the Trinidad History and Future Festival. And then we confirming that folks can hear us. It looks like we might have lost service. Okay.
Can you repeat that, Commissioner, for folks? It looks like the Zoom went out.
Looks like our Zoom went out for a moment, so I'm gonna repeat this really quickly. Okay, all right. So for the month of October, our beginning balance was $49,324.77. Our ending balance was $38,508.40. We spent funds on our admin for personnel, communications for the Verizon Fios payment. We made some purchases for cleanup supplies, as well as we funded the grant for the weekly scope for the Trinidad History and Future Festival. And we also purchased Owl Technology. So that was a total of $10,816.37. We also had a situation just to keep the books clean for auditability purposes, where when we made purchases of Staples and Lowe's, they split the payment up. So to better align it to our OANC QFR portal, we just kind of refunded it back and redid it in the system. So how it shows up in the system will show some of the funds refunded. But the total amount that will show for the October budget is $10,816.37, with a note that $3,416.22 was refunded. So it was a net total of about $7,400 that was spent in total. For the month of November, we had a beginning balance of $38,508.40. And so far, we only spent $4,000, and that was as of yesterday, and that was to pay the full amount due for the Trinidad mural that is on the boxing gym. So
Done.
that was paid out on November 1st. So there will be more to come. We have a few additional, I think, purchases we'll do throughout the month, but that is kind of where we are right now. I'll pause this to see if any folks have questions.
It was a lot of numbers being shared. So just to clarify, the $4,000 that we recently spent was to complete our mural project.
Yeah.
And the other funds that we spent last month were more administrative office needs.
Yes.
Okay.
Administrative office needs, as well as a grant for the Trinidad History and Future Festival.
Yes. Perfect. Were there any questions from commissioners? For the public, I will permit today, since it doesn't seem like it's a crazy agenda. If you do have a question, feel free to raise your hand. During tonight's voting action items, I will ask that you use the Q&A function, unless you're here present with us physically. So if there's no questions, we'll proceed to the next item.
If we don't spend all of our funds, does it roll over to next year? Does it zero out? We got to do that.
The funds will roll over to the next year. So consistent funding consistently. So we'll receive our allotment and we will kind of carry that balance over until it's all full paid. Well, until we don't have it. So the money is still there.
Some commissions sit on a hefty amount of funds. Some don't have anything. So we're pretty lucky to have something to sit on right now. Okay. Were there any other items, Commissioner?
There is, I'll wait, but it's kind of the next item. It's about the fiscal year budgets.
Go ahead.
Gonna share my screen one more time. All right. Right now, this is the fiscal year 2026 budget. We approved this on October 14th. The reason that I am resharing it, we had an OANC training where they said we're supposed to open it up for public comment. So at the time, I did not know that. So I am opening this up for public comment. This was also put in the agenda prior to, so this is just more for reference. And just to kind of give a quick overview, our approved our carry forward from FY 25 to FY 26 is $49,324, and it was like 77 cents. So that is why this number is rounded up, in terms of the balance forward. But, we do receive a quarterly allotment of $5,663. So that is where you will see the funds kind of highlighted in green for those that can see this virtually. We plan to spend money on personnel, direct office budget, communications, office supplies, grants for public purchase, grants for direct expenditure, local transportation, purchase of service, and different bank charges we may receive as well. And then for in-person meetings, there is an allotted kind of snack-ish budget. It cannot be food, but we can have up to $100 spent for snack for in-person meetings. So that gave us a total kind of amount dispersed throughout the year of about $50,000. So just so you all know that that's kind of the overview there, but I'll pause it to see if the public has any questions. I wanted to make sure that this was noticed and people had the opportunity. And in the room, we have Skip. So I'll just skip that.
It's not a question per se, but at least the way I'm looking at it, the line that says district allotment, I think you have periods instead of commas, like the 22,000.
Oh Lord, we're gonna lose all our money now.
No, I'll take a look just to make sure it
At
is.
least on my screen, they look like
Okay.
full stops.
Yeah.
You're very European way of doing it, except it's in three.
No, I'll make sure it is kind of clear. We kind of, this is more of an overview just for informational purposes.
I just thought.
Because we have the QFR kind of OANC portal that we use to put everything in. This is more of visual, just so that folks can see kind of how the numbers kind of shake out here. But no, noted, I'll make sure that it is commas, just so that it adds up.
Thank
But
you.
I think we're good right now.
I don't think it's a question of adding up, it's just, it's a punctuation issue.
Thank you. Were there any questions from commissioners on this? Commissioner, remind us, I'm sorry, when this open period is over?
Today, hopefully.
Got it.
Unless folks have other questions, concerns.
Because we do know that you shared all this information last month, so that's
Yeah.
in 30 days.
Yeah.
More than 30 days, because we meet an extra week later this month, so.
Yes, so it was noted. I just wanted to make sure that we re-noticed it, just so that folks know this was our approved budget for the Tuesday, October 14th meeting. I think it was October 14th, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
So, if anyone has questions, just let us know. As a note, while this budget is approved, changes can always be made with the budget. So, if folks want us to maneuver anything, we can do that as well.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Were there anything else on the fiscal year for 2026 budget?
Yes, so two other notes in the budget.
Mhm.
One of the items, they're not necessarily voting items, it's more to note it to the public. So when we initially approved the budget, I found out that our personnel, since they're independent contractors and they're 1099s, they are not considered personnel because they're not salaried and they're not W-2 employees. They're considered purchase of service, which is more independent contractor kind of work on a work by work basis, statement by statement, it's a work for completion. so due to that, I am requesting that we move 18,000 from the personnel budget to the purchase of service. So this one will require, actually. So
Understood.
I'm moving that we maneuver 18,000 from our personnel budget. Since we don't have traditional personnel, and move that 18,000 to the purchase of service, which would kind of cover our admin assistant and whoever we hire for the social media project work.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to amend the budget to adjust this line item. You said discussion, okay? 3-minute discussion,
It don't have to be 3 minutes,
Oh.
but was there always a personnel budget or personnel?
Yeah, so last year we had this under personnel, so I just kind of carried it forward for this year, but during a recent OANC training that we had in October, they noted that independent contractors should be considered purchase of service, so it was more of an instruction, move this from personnel to purchase of service, since we're purchasing service from individuals to do specific tasks for us. And they're not necessarily salary W-2 employees.
Okay.
So this is more a clerical thing, administrative, so, yeah.
okay,
Okay.
any further discussion? Okay, there's a motion on the floor, can Commissioner McCray get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roblin, all in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed and any abstentions? Okay, motion carries, thank you, Commissioner.
All right, and then one last item. Sorry, everyone, I know I've been talking a lot.
You're good.
Good, so. Waiting on my internet to load now, but this OANC portal kind of breaks these numbers down in a little bit more detail. So I am requesting to just kind of align the funds a little bit on the subline items so that it'll kind of make more sense. So hold tight. So what I just shared was having the top dollar amounts. However, the OANC QFR, that's the quarterly financial report portal, has these numbers further delineated. So I was just going to suggest we split the numbers up on these subline items. So since we don't have traditional personnel, one of our first items would be a direct office cost. We have the top line item as 3,000. So I'm suggesting that we split up maybe 1,500 in the sub line items so that it'll fall in line with what the QFR portal has. We were supposed to put items in the subline items and it'll total at the end once they pull all of the information forward at the end of FY25 Q4. So just suggesting that we break these up a little bit so that it'll total the top line item. I know we did it for grants, but I didn't think it was necessary to do it for the other ones, but I was informed during a training that it is necessary. So I'm just gonna suggest that we just split it up kind of even.
Okay. Did you need to make a motion for that?
I'll motion just so that it
minutes.
is clear, just in case.
Okay.
Just motioning that we realign the funding. So for the direct office costs, we will realign $3,000 between office and rent meeting. Well, in this instance, we don't really have an office rent meeting space, so I would put 3,000 towards durable goods.
I think I would not pay rent.
For communications, website hosting, business software management, I would split that up. $333.33 amongst all of them. One would be $333.34. So kind of just splitting them up in those sublines so that it made a little bit more sense when when the OANC pulls it forward. I hope that makes sense, but I'll pause just to see if there's questions.
I would just say for the motion, we just say divide it up as stated according to the discretion of the treasurer or something, just like give you some flexibility to match where you feel like our costs will be,
Okay,
but not exceeding the total.
not exceeding the total number, yeah. So I'll move that we move the funds on the subline items at the discretion of the treasurer based on just kind of where the funds align.
Okay. I'll second that. Those in favor, do we need another discussion? Do we need another discussion? Doesn't sound like it. Okay. Motion on the floor by Commissioner Cray, second by myself. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Quick question before we move to the next item. Is there any other outstanding items under the treasury that the public should be aware about at this point in time, since we don't meet next month?
Nothing
Just
outstanding
to
at
close
this
out
current.
for this calendar year, not the fiscal year, because we.
Yeah, just the calendar year, we should be good. Everything within the budget, I don't expect that we will surpass that. So we should be fine going into the new calendar year.
Perfect, that's all I needed to know. Thank you so much. You've been a great treasurer this year, for real. With that being said, we're right on time right now, so we'll start with our committee reports, safety report. So, committee reports, trash and beautification.
So,
Could you just speak up, just to make sure we.
thank you. So our committee's been pretty active these last, couple months. We've done many commissioners have done multiple cleanups using the trash pickers and the bags that we have from our storage. We did a few tree walks, one in Union Market, one in Carver Langston, and we have one more planned for this year, which is probably gonna be mostly in SMD 06. We have a new project we're gonna work on with DC Natives, which is a group working on bringing native pollinators back to the area. The project is to supply funds to create wildflower gardens on residents' properties between the sidewalk and the street. We may or may not also be able to create fruit and vegetable gardens yet, we're not sure. Tomorrow and Wednesday at 7:15, we'll host our last committee planning meeting of the year. Our guest will be Josh Singer, DPR's community garden person, and he will discuss our first steps to building a food forest at Trinidad Rec Center. So exciting. I'm so excited about this. This is a plan that's been a long time coming. Josh just really hasn't had the time to help us with it until now, but we began planning for it a couple of years ago. And we may also consider either a community garden or food forest at Joe Cole Rec. In any of these activities, contact me at 202-651-0581 or 5D03@anc.dc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I think we calculated an estimated 1,200 bags of trash we've gone
Yes.
off the streets.
Yes.
Since establishing the committee, so we're really proud of that, and we're gonna literally have a vote on the table to get more bags, so this ain't stopping anytime soon. We hope that y'all stop dropping trash, but at least we won't stop picking it up. We do have one of our co-chairs for the zoning committee. Did you want to share anything or any updates by any chance, Skip?
Well, it looks like the applicant for 21361 sometime during dinner time, finally uploaded the stuff that we requested last week. I'm looking at it right now, the burden of proof.
Okay, so we will be moving forward with the applicant, the BZA case 21.
Yes,
361 tonight.
There's a significant amount of opposition to that case. So the way I look at it, the fact that they only updated it within the last hour or so is problematic. Because it hasn't given the committee any time, the commission, I mean, to take a look at it.
Yeah, the stuff that you read that I sent was the unupdated stuff, and I thought they had already updated it, but they didn't.
Okay,
No, it was the link I sent you that was for the Google Drive, that was some of the updated stuff they had sent us. But that's not the link you sent out,
okay.
so,
Cause that thought they told me that they were going to put it in the BZA file, so I assumed they did.
Well, tonight's the night when we get to hear from them officially, so we'll see how that goes, but we'll, that will be later tonight in a voting action item. Okay, perfect.
So,
With that being said, there's no other standing committee reports. For those that are watching, we do start the new calendar year for us in January. We have a recess next month. So if you're interested in joining one of our committees, feel free to reach out to any of your ANC commissioners and we can get those balls rolling. Right now is not the time to stand by and be cavalier to any of the work that community is doing, especially associated to your local ANCs, because we are a form of government. I would really appreciate to see more folks step up, even if it's just donating a little bit of time virtually or in person. So we have committees opening up again in January and we have new chairs as well. So looking forward to seeing more faces join us as we continue doing the work that we do in ANC 5D. And yes, I see someone that dropped a question in the chat. January's meeting will be in person. I know some folks didn't appear today because it was raining and it's a little cold, but January's meeting will be here at 371 Moore Street, Northeast. Weather permitting, yes, because if there's snow, we ain't doing that. I mean, I'll probably be here, but we ain't asking everyone else to be here. Okay, with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with commissioners' reports. This is an opportunity for the ANC commissioners just to give a brief update on anything that they've been working on, or just to share that, hey, I am here. That's enough sometimes. So with that being said, I'll just go down the line for our ANC commissioners and allow them to speak. 3 minutes each.
I have one quick thing, just a general note. I just finished looking through the burden of proof. It's actually accurate, more or less accurate now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, it's good.
Thank you.
5D01. Union Market.
Okay, great. Thank you to the chair and the rest of the commission. I have a couple of things to report since our last meeting. Also, for those of you who I haven't met yet or don't know me, my name is Isabel Cholby and I'm the commissioner for 5D01, which is Union Market and Gallaudet. So firstly, I had the pleasure recently of meeting with some folks from Unite Here Local 25, which is an organization of restaurant workers, at some of whose restaurants are here in Union Market and some of which are elsewhere in DC. And they're currently engaged in a fight for fair wages at those establishments. So it was my pleasure to meet with them and talk about that. I support everyone working in my district here in Union Market earning a living wage. So thank you to the folks from Local 25 for talking with me. Secondly, last Saturday, I went to a workshop held by the DC Office of Planning on their DC 2050 initiative. For those who aren't aware, constituents, DC 2050 is the Office of Planning's initiative to update their comprehensive plan. Now that doesn't sound that you're like, what is that? That's a land use plan for the whole district. So that includes our neighborhood, but DC as a whole. So I think that's a pretty important initiative for us to be aware of, because changes to that document are what's going to govern how DC grows and how our neighborhoods grow, where housing is going to go, where businesses are going to go, where parks are going to go, things like that. So at that workshop, Commissioner McCray was also there, but also lots of other ANCs, staff from the Office of Planning and staff from DDOT, the District Department of Transportation. And I also got to talk to some of my constituents about traffic patterns here in Union Market. And so I was happy to attend that event. But I wanted to shout out that folks should go to the DC 2050 website, which I think is dc2050.com. If you're interested in learning more about that, I'm sorry, it's dc2050.dc, excuse me. But they have recordings of some of their past workshops and engagements if folks are interested in learning more. Last, I attended the community cleanup hosted by Commissioners McCray and Saucedo Guzman on Sunday. Got to work with them and lots of local young people, and also, do you say the CSOSA office?
Yes.
Yes.
Sosa.
CSOSA office, yes. So, thanks to the commissioners and officials who put that on, and thanks for everyone who came to participate in cleaning up your community. That was my first one, because again, I'm still, this is my second public ANC meeting, but that's something I plan to keep attending, something the public can continue to attend if you're looking for community engagement hours or community service hours, anything like that. So last, if you want to contact me, my commissioner email is 5d01@anc.dc.gov. And if you want to know what your ANC is up to, our newsletters and our calendar of events is anc5d.org. So if you have a question between now and January, I would encourage you to email me or your relevant commissioner or check out our website for that information. I know it's been kind of a hard year living in DC for a lot of us, and particularly maybe a hard last month or so. And since we don't have another meeting until the new year, I just want to say for anyone listening, I hope you enjoy whatever holidays you do celebrate. I'll see you in the new year. I hope your ANC can be a source of community for you, regardless of what's happening for you personally. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D02, Ivy City.
Yes, yesterday we had a meeting with DPR and DGS about the Cornell School. We still have money in the budget. It's still going to be renovated, but there's been some changes. We won't have the 2 new buildings, but we will have the historic Cornell School. We will have more green space. We will have still the 2 basketball courts. The only thing is that it won't open up, or it won't be finished until 2028. So we're we've been pushed back another year because the design team has changed. From what we saw last night, the school is going to be perfect. It's still going to be renovated. It's not going to be torn down. We're going to have all our programming inside the Cornell School. We're still going to have a splash pad. We're still going to have green space in the urban garden. We're just going to have the 2 new buildings that the old design team had put in the design. There will be some permits coming out, but it's we're looking at some time next year when they start construction. So we still have some more time to enjoy the space at the Cornell site until they completely shut it down. We want them to completely shut it down because we want to see the school be renovated. But that won't happen until maybe the summer. But we will keep you informed of all the meetings. The meetings will be quarterly, and our next meeting will be in February. Also, there is a new sidewalk gap program, and there'll be a sidewalk, new installation of a sidewalk on New York Avenue between Fairview Avenue Northeast and the Railroad Bridge. You can go to sidewalkgap.d.dc.gov, and you can add any comments. You have until December 14th to add comments to this project. And that's all for me. Thank you.
5D03, South Trinidad.
Hello, yes, I'm Anna Roblin, South Trinidad. In the last few months, I've had two BZA cases, both of which have been in some ways problematic, kept me very busy. One at 1253 Morse, which we'll vote on tonight, and one at 1140 Florida, which will have its zoning committee hearing this Thursday. The Florida case was formerly a BZA we had a couple years ago at 1108 Montello. It's the same building. They're asking for a modification of significance. Contact me if you'd like to join the email chat for 1140 Florida. We have a squatter on a vacant lot that we're trying to get them off of, which has been a longer process than we hoped for. I'm beginning Zoom meetings for neighborhood well-being at Florida and Montello, because many residents have complained about some of the activities of the group of people who hang out there most days. My goal is for us to support everyone there, both the members of the group that are hanging out and the neighbors who have been complaining, and just try to work on the issues. Be good to everybody. So the goal is to work things out in a way that's really, truly beneficial for everybody. And if you'd like to join these Zoom calls, please give me a call, text, or email as well. I'm at 202-651-0581 and 5D03@anc.dc.gov.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D04 Central Trinidad.
Good evening, all. Nathan Hustler, happy report. I don't have a lot to formally report. Had a few follow-up requests for service requests that didn't go through, so we're working on those. Also, anything I was formally engaged in, but it's just update, jobless market, which closed unexpectedly a few months ago, is currently relaunching as Montello Market. So I look to engage with them. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now.
Do we know if it's a different owner or?
I've not heard formally. I think it might be, someone said it might be the original owner that was then like renting it out. So they might be like retaking it back over, but I've not heard that formally and haven't connected with them directly.
Understood. Okay, I've seen them in and out and I haven't got a chance myself. We're gonna pause real quick just because my laptop's gonna die and we're gonna get this video feed situated, so it's only 2 seconds. So we'll just disconnect it. All right. Sorry about that. Can we get a confirmation in the chat that we sound and look fine? I mean, I know we look good, but. Chat, where you at? Y'all were bumping on the left? Okay, back to me. Thank you. Okay, so 505, I'm next. Northern Trinidad. We've had a busy fall, I would say. A lot of the folks in the neighborhood know that our area has been a hotspot for activity in the past, and with the federal occupation, we've had an increase of federal officers in the area. That hasn't stopped any of the work that we're trying to still do in Northern Trinidad. Luckily, working with CSOSA recently, we had a very large group of folks come out to our last cleanup on Sunday. We got to clean up parts of Mixed Place, Rom Street, Trinidad Avenue, Childress, and the Rec Center. Because I know on Holbrook Street particularly, a lot of folks have been complaining that due to whatever reason, whether it's the wind, that a lot of trash piles up along that street and in some of the actual buildings that are on that block. So we were able to pick up a lot of trash from there, clean up some of the trees on the block as well. Just like I've been, hammering for a while. The fall is the best time to spruce up your trees. So when the spring comes around for the new year, they start growing really beautiful canopies that you will enjoy lovely shade in the summer. So with that being said, We did also, as Commissioner Gray mentioned earlier, we did complete the mural project, so that's completed. I think it's not only beautified that space on Mount Olivet Road, but it's just changed the energy on that street. We still have continuous police presence that we'll ask some information on by our officers tonight. But just be mindful that if you are contacting the police for any reason, we do hope that you have a sound reason to do so. Some residents are still continuing to call the police on residents themselves. And when that happens, these federal agents don't care for any humanity. So they are ready for they are ready for any form of blood they can get on the streets. So just please, if you can't use our violence interrupters for some reason, because they're readily available, they're doing a lot. They just did a big food giveaway. They fed 200 people last Wednesday at the boxing gym itself. If you can't use them to mitigate some concerns on the block, yes, MPD is always available, but just be mindful how that eventually goes about. I myself was a victim of the federal officers misusing their power. And it was a sad situation where young gentlemen were genuinely curious about some of the work that is being done in their neighborhood. And in that moment, we had federal agents jump out on us, and they violated those young men's rights. So it was a very sad moment. I was very angry, but it was a very sad moment where young men that generally do not have that sense of curiosity due to lack of trust, it was just burned within seconds. And to lose that, it does take community policing back decades. So if you do have a situation where maybe you want some mediation or some conflict resolution outside of the Metropolitan Police Department, please reach out to me directly. I wouldn't say that's my job, but it's something that I'd rather do for someone than have our officers do, because they have more serious things to really tackle in this city. And sometimes a conversation can really change a situation. So I won't say more than that, but please continue to be mindful that street sweeping is not happening anymore. We're off season, so there will be more litter on your streets. If you do want to coordinate a cleanup, we are able to do that. We're making moves to purchase more trash pickers tonight. So, and that's based on the fact that CSOS has been giving us an amazing amount of volunteers that have been getting trash off the streets. And we're gonna keep feeding into that resource that we've been blessed with. Also, just to plug some events happening, the Cure the Streets is working with some of our community businesses and organizations this weekend. They will be doing a turkey giveaway this Saturday at 12 o'clock at 1603 Montello Avenue. So if you are in need of a turkey, please feel free to stand in a very long line to grab one. Also, there are different events happening at Joel Cole Rec Center as well. And I know we have the council member's office that will speak on some of what they're doing, but also some of the local churches are doing as well. So there's a lot going on for the holiday season. If you want to get plugged in, feel free to reach out to us directly. Please be safe out here as the weather gets colder and the commanders are losing. There is an uptick in domestic violence. So please be mindful that domestic violence is a real situation that happens in our city. And sadly, there is a correlation with the commanders and domestic violence. So I know I have some commanders fans out here, but we just have to be honest with some of the stuff that we do face directly in our neighborhoods. So with that being said, please be safe. We're not going to meet in December. Please be safe. Please be safe. Please be safe. And I look forward to seeing some of you in person in January. And I'll drop the address to the turkey giveaway in the chat. Thank you, Bob. 5D06.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Char McCray, Trinidad Carver Langston, the cut across in between Bladensburg and kind of 17th Street. Some of Trinidad, some of Carver Langston. So it's a pleasure to be here. Last meeting of the year. I want to echo some of the sentiments of other commissioners, like, please stay safe. Like, this is a time where I know there's a lot of angst just going on in the world. So Just be safe. If you have questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to us or anybody. Make sure that you talk to neighbors during this time because it's very, very important, very important. All right, so I have a series of updates. Sorry in advance. So, one of the first ones I want to mention is there is a sidewalk exemption for those that are 65 plus elderly or those that could be impaired as we come across this snowy season. You are required to shovel that bit in between your home and that curb cut. So make sure it can get dangerous as we get snow. Since we aren't meeting in December and we aren't gonna meet again until January, we could have a snow day, hopefully for Christmas, we'll see, or for the holidays. Just be mindful of that. I also wanted to echo, similar to what Isabel said, please, please, please chime in to the DC 2050 comprehensive plan. This is something that is going to dictate how our neighborhoods will look going forward. It'll dictate housing, it'll dictate retail. And even if you don't know what to say, show up and tell them you don't know what to say so that they can make it make sense to you. I think that type of feedback is also necessary for them. The emergency rental assistance program opens this Thursday, November 20th. So like there's a new process in place for that. So if folks have questions or concerns, I'm sure it may come up with either the mayor's office that is about to speak or the council member's office. But if you have questions, that does open this Thursday. It is also leaf season. Leaves are very slippery. It is raining today. It is very dangerous to have the leaves in the sidewalk. So most of us are section D for ANC 5D. Most of us are. So be mindful they're only on section B. B is in boy right now, not section D yet. So that is forthcoming. I think it's like the second week of December is when they'll really be out here hitting our streets hard. But in the meantime, please shovel the leaves. There was a light heat delay due to the government shutdown, but they expect that the process will be in play again on December 1st. So if you need kind of low income heat and energy assistance program, just be mindful there are some delays right now. I want to highlight that the DC streetcar is set to close March of 2026. There is a public meeting by VDOT on December the 9th at 1 p.m. I know it's during the day and I know that's a weekday. But if you have concerns about kind of what that rollout will look like, how they're going to slow down service, please join that and voice frustrations, maybe happiness, concerns, whatever you have, please join to express that. We had the Trinidad History and Future Festival on November the 9th. Our ANC did purchase or help to fund some of the plaques. Those will be featured in the weekly school. Once we have those, we'll definitely share pictures, let folks know where to go or how to access it so you can see it. So that'll be forthcoming as well. In ANC 5D 06, we had a series of cleanups. We collected a lot of bags. So huge shout out to the neighbors that have helped with cleanups. Huge shout out to C. Sosa for that. There are some issues, and hopefully I can express them to MPD in a few, but issues with Alert DC, not notifying folks when things happen. And a lot of folks are finding out on Nextdoor, whether it's a public safety incident, a fire incident, we are not finding out through Alert DC anymore. A lot of folks have expressed that to me, so I do want to bring that up in a few, but it is on the radar. There's going to be an upcoming meeting about 17th Street, Bladensburg Road, and Mount Olivet. It's going to be hosted mostly by ANC 5C, but as I get more details about that, I'll share them with folks. It's going to leave from the Denny's. The date isn't solidified yet, but it will be in December. So stay tuned for more on that. I am aware of the backlog that happens around 2 to 4 o'clock. We know it gets a little messy, probably not a little, it gets messy. And it does protrude into the street and becomes a little bit unsafe. So that is on the radar. We do note that. There's a new bench coming to 900 Bladensburg Road. in front of the 7-Eleven. And it's a two-seater semi-seat is what they call it. So there is no overhead covering. I know it's coming across the winter. I've expressed that I don't understand why there's no overhead covering, but this seat is supposed to be of assistance. It was a Wamata.
This is for the bus stop.
The bus stop, yeah. It is gonna be at the bus stop in front of the 7-Eleven. I did speak to all the business owners over there from Jenks to 7-Eleven. I understand some of the public safety concerns that come with having seats sometimes, but if you have questions or concerns, let me know. There is a public meeting, a public space committee meeting this Thursday, November 20th, about that seat. So if you have concerns, let me know. I think a seat is generally good for folks. I understand that we can't always control for what could happen, but I think a seat is generally nice because there are always folks right there. Pretty quick bus stop, in and out. Folks don't tend to linger, but I know seats can sometimes allow for lingering, but that is just a note for folks. That meeting is this Thursday. If you want the information, just let me know. I can share it with you, but you do have to send an email to the public space committee folks to get on the meeting, so just let me know. A few other items just really quickly. For RFK, there are a series of meetings that have been happening. I would urge folks to attend those RFK meetings because we understand off of Benning Road, we are gonna get a lot of that cut through traffic. So I've been expressing to DDOT that cut through traffic from 50 down Bladensburg, down 17th, could potentially lead to a traffic nightmare in the current state. So I just want folks to know you can find it online. They do have a lot of the meetings. We will let you know when they happen. They're not necessarily geared towards Ward 5, but a lot of the meetings will somehow impact us in that cut through traffic. So I just want people to truly be mindful of that because I want to note that traffic is going to uptick when that happens.
19th Street.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All the way down to like, the golf course area.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna be very, very interesting. So, attend if you can, voice your concerns, voice your happiness. Voice how you feel. I think it's important. And the last thing I'll note, because I know I've been talking for a minute, the Department of Employment Services is hiring. We are gonna create a space on our ANC 5D website so that folks can see all of those jobs that are there. They are hiring, and there's a lot of the jobs. It's not all service industry jobs, so just be mindful that they do have a range of different positions. And if you guys want, we can bring in DOES, the Department of Employment Services, just to speak to the jobs that they have, because they want people to get hired. They want that. So just be mindful of those things, but more to come. And just let me know if you want me to drop any links. I know I said a lot. I'm gonna stop talking.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Am I?
No, but yeah. And our final commissioner, 5D09.
I'm here. Right now, honestly, what I would like my constituents to know that if you need any food or any assistance, reach out to me. You can contact me personally. I'm gonna give you my telephone number right now. 240-391-7170. So if you need me, you can contact me anytime. I am in the community. I'm visible. I can help you with resources. If you need any food baskets, I'm here to help you. So please reach out to me at any given time, except after 8 p.m.
What's the phone number again?
240-391-7170.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So we're exactly on time right now with our agenda. Whoop, whoop. We have our public safety report from some of our officers from the 5th District tonight. They'll be taking some of our questions as well as sharing information on the last 30 days in the 5th District. Y'all are welcome to walk up to.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. So Anthony on. Son is degree. Yes, I'm level 6. I'm over on that. My son's second degree, PSA 507. I have some crime stats for you guys the past 30 days or as well as the year to date. You guys have any questions? And if you guys need to reach any of our lieutenants, their emails are posted on the website, the district website. For 506, we have Lieutenant Otero. For 507, we have Lieutenant Shaw. Everything is down for the most part the past 30 days, with few exceptions. 102 exception, property violent crimes. The past 30 days, 0 homicides. ADW, which we had one last night, last year. 30 days ago, I guess, was 3. We had 4 this past 30 days. So just 1. And for property crimes, burglary, we have only 2. We had 3 this last 30 days ago, we had 1. So pretty much it.
So we had assault with a deadly weapon and burglaries.
Yes.
What particular areas were this in?
So last night was the 1200 block of 18th place, Northeast. Should be 507. That's PSA 507. Suspect is known, domestic in nature. True south.
Okay.
So making an arrest. Horrible.
I have a question. You say the past 30 days, is that October or November? Or half of October, half of November?
I'm not quite sure. All I have is the crime stat. It says last 30 days. I guess from today.
You said it was no homicide for the past 30 days?
Not in the district.
That's outside of the police shooting that happened recently.
Those are, this is
No,
justified.
was just.
It's, yeah.
Okay.
So we had 2 officers involved,
Yes.
just so you know what you're talking about. Like the 2nd district, we had 1 and we had 1 in the 6th district.
As far as the homicides, it's not even 5D, but it lasted.
That's we reported for 5D, not district wide.
Do we know when the last time we did have a homicide in 5D?
Ooh. 30 days ago?
Was it 30 days ago?
Yeah, 30 days ago.
It was in
In the last 30 days.
Yeah, we haven't had any outside 30 days.
So
Last 30 days.
the homicide in October, what happened with that homicide?
Which one?
In October, at the Rhode Island Avenue station?
I don't know.
Okay.
You guys could always reach out to the Executive office if you have any additional question on that.
What PSAs do y'all belong to?
506.
507.
Okay, so those are the areas that pretty much cover us. Was there anything out of the ordinary that y'all saw during these last 30 days in terms of y'all's patrol?
We had a guy that was struck by a train last night.
SPSA 505.
That's, yeah, but it's in 5D, so.
What was that?
He was,
Struck by a train, so I guess he was on the train tracks.
Was it Rhode Island Avenue or Brooklyn or
right
Nova?
off,
Evard Street.
Be all right.
It's by Evard Street.
is,
Okay.
You got an alert over my phone for about.
Yeah.
Anything else out of the ordinary, gentlemen?
no, I wasn't been. Crime down,
Okay.
overall.
Okay. If there's any questions from the public, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll let you ask. Yep.
I don't know what happened, so this is a question of just general. Yesterday morning, I was woken up by lots and lots and lots of sirens and everything. It sounded like they were racing up 19th Street. Do you have any idea what might have been going on? I mean, it was like 6:30 in the morning.
19th Street, like 507, like around Banner Road, around
Yeah,
Maryland.
you're running up that way. Yeah. But I mean, I counted just based on the different siren sound, 26 people.
Based on the sound.
You know, because you know how you can hear them coming from different directions.
We have different operations going on with the departments too, so.
Okay.
I don't know what they were responding to.
Okay, I just thought I would ask because it was,
Nothing else.
it's a very rude awakening.
Davina, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I just wanna flag, there are moments where Alert DC does not notify folks. Folks are finding out about public safety incidents on Nextdoor or whatever other sites that they're using in order to kind of know what's going on, even if it's a block away. I know, I know HCMA really is the group that kind of goes after kind of alert DC notifications, but has something changed this year where and I'm asking because since the federal occupation, we're no longer getting notified about, hey, there was like a gunshot or hey, MPD's over here. We are not receiving those notifications. It's not a matter of not being subscribed to Alert DC, but it is not happening. So I want to flag that and see if we can get some follow-up on that because I mean, folks should know when an instance happened. There was a fire yesterday on the 1800 block of M Street.
Maybe that's
And
that's what it was.
There was a fire over there and I found out on Nextdoor. Other neighbors found out on Nextdoor.
What
street?
It was on M Street, I believe. And let me look, there was another instance where it happened.
Because they also had a fire on H Street, 18th and H Street. So her house is like no good anymore. So
And-
she lost everything, so.
Sorry to
Yeah.
hear that. But the notice, typically, if you're signed up, you would get that notification, right? And it's like, if you wanted to go help, or if you were in a rush to work, or if you wanted to know how to be safe, public safety reports should be coming through, and they are not.
Usually with a big incident like that, for example, if we had one at Fourth and Rhode Island, we would call CIC. The Command Information Center, we let them know, hey, the Metro knows, like, everybody that's involved knows that, hey, such project would be. You know, like, but.
And there's a breakdown of that communication right now. And I think it's important that folks know if there was a shooting a block away, they should know that there was a shooting a block away. You know what I mean? I think that's important.
And I got another question. There was we were notified that there was specific types of robberies going on,
Okay.
like for beats and things like that. We have received an email from
Sergeant Lee. No.
so can you expand on that situation? Is that still a situation or are we good now?
So we have 10 different beats or posts. So we have 10 different areas of concern, like beats, posts, that we have throughout the district, 5D. Yeah, so we still have these 24-hour beats where like officers are assigned in those areas.
It was a 24-hour beat. We were at the Trinidad box, Pentacles, Benton Road, 17th to 19th Street, which is pretty much the Benton courts. We got Benton and Gales, 15th to 17th Street. We got Edgewood, which is a mountain bike trail, Saratoga. And yes. And on the bike trail, we actually have officers on actually bicycles, who's pretty much patrolling that trail. Cover a lot more ground on the bicycles, which we can't with the vehicles. Yeah.
And for Pinnacle, you cover both sides, the 15th Street and the 16th Street side. If we get a lot of sound of gunshots there.
Still?
Not since we've been there. Since we've been there, probably one.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Yeah, once or twice, I was watching, and it definitely affected.
Yeah.
No, they're not standing still, we're trying to that box.
For everything.
And what about Ivy City? Are we needing any patrols in Ivy City? Are we having any patrols in Ivy City?
I'm assigned to Ivy City, so I patrol Ivy City regularly. So we're like, do social, where the bus, lot is, that they like breaking into cars and that, but blocks, you know where the restaurant is, what is it,
Smokehouse.
Smokehouse, I can say Smokehouse.
When we're not on assignment, I mean, this is my partner, yeah, we worked together for a while, so when not on an assignment, definitely try to possibly help you. There's just like a lot more, traffic, which is for those areas.
Sometimes they watch us.
Yeah, they
Once
watch
you
you.
leave,
No operations, I mean, we can't be there all the time, once I get an assignment, I have to be, but most of the time, you can find us there.
Okay, so it's Oak Street, the only spot in our city that you're patrolling, or is that the only issue you're having?
so a lot
You're
of people,
seeing in our city is Oak Street?
Yeah, I'll pretty much say, not the only block, but that's where you get most of your traffic, so people are coming in to the restaurants, yeah.
you're going to
Also,
social,
beat the bomb. Most people park their cars there. When you have Ivy City Smokehouse, those are all the car breakers are gonna be at. So most of the time, like I said, when not on assignment, we try to patrol those areas. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Davina, Kana has a question. You're unmuted.
Yeah, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, thank you so much to the commissioners for hosting this meeting and for all of the work you do, and thank you, officers, for presenting today. I live on Neal and Montello, and unfortunately, my vehicle was stolen about a week ago. I have been just in communication with my neighbors and folks that live in the blocks around us, just to understand how common auto thefts are in our community. I haven't heard that much of people having their car stolen, certainly broken into. That's happened quite a few times, but we've learned a lot to avoid that. Do you have any information on, if is this common in our community? Are we seeing car thefts? Or are you seeing them that often? And if you do you have any guidance on things that people can do to avoid that? And anything that I can share with my neighbors as well, so that they're not in a similar situation? Thank you.
They just pretty much just try their best not to do stuff of value that's in the open, in the vehicles. That's pretty much like a main thing I'll say. Once you see stuff with value, it's pretty much out in the open. It's pretty much like opportunity to walk past. Once they see that, definitely they'll try. Pretty much break in, but that's pretty much the most advice I had in reference to car breakers. Yes.
What about that thing that you attach to the steering wheel? I forgot what it's called.
Trying to lock your things so don't steal the car. That would be recommended.
They're
Yeah,
fine.
definitely.
they find ways.
We find ways to break that up.
Does NPD still offer the program where you all funded that, or the air tag? Because I know y'all funded the air tag so that folks can find their vehicles, but I believe y'all were funding those steer wheel locks as well. Do y'all still do that?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in the station in a while, but I'm not sure. If they have it.
Would you be able to circle back to us and let us
Yeah, I
know?
will.
Okay.
Davina, did they find your car?
No, unfortunately, we're learning that some car thieves have
Did you
become
get
a
your
little
car
bit.
back, Davina?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
What kind of
unfortunately,
car is it?
it's an Acura, and we believe that the GPS was disabled as well because we're not able to track it. So this is why I'm just trying to get the sense, like, is this happening often, or was just my situation a one-off? I know break-ins are fairly common, and we've learned not to have anything valuable in the car, so we know about that. But are you hearing of actual thefts? And if you are, what else can we
Oh,
be
yeah.
doing to avoid that?
And Davina, was your car on the street?
It was
on
on the
public
street.
space?
Yeah, it was on the street, and thanks
Okay,
to
thank
neighbors, Ring cameras, we were able to identify that it was taken probably between 4 and 4:30 in the morning.
To answer the question, yes, it is common. But I'm looking at the numbers right now, last statement is got 32, it's down to 12. Year to date, it was 299, now it's 185.
So it's decreased, but it's still occurring.
Yeah, it's still current, yes.
And also y'all are saying that people shouldn't leave things of value, but my neighbor had her car broken into when she had toilet paper. wanna see.
Sometimes it crunch of opportunity. They could sell it for $5-10, support whatever they want to
I
support.
didn't have anything in my car, and the lady was just in it. So sometimes you don't have to have anything just laying around for someone to break into it,
Yeah.
so.
I'm
Yeah,
not saying that's gonna help all the time, I'm just saying that's pretty much something that's gonna help you a little bit.
It usually draws their attention. If you have something in your car that they want, they'll smash your window and grab it. It only takes maybe a minute.
So just two final questions to wrap it up, so we can let y'all go back to your jobs and taking care of us. There were shots fired last week in Trinidad off of 11th Place in Rom. Did we ever find out who did that or what occurred in that situation?
It's
Still an ongoing investigation.
still an ongoing investigation, but we have enough information. So, cause we actually took a report for one of the houses that was struck by gunfire. Still open investigation, but they working on it.
Can you share any information on it? Like it was just like a one-off situation, someone got mad, someone was doing
So I don't know,
something.
it appears there's some kind of dispute between a group of people,
Okay.
but that's all I can tell you.
We are thankful that no one got hurt, but you know, it's been pretty quiet on our end for a bit, and we try to keep it that way. So since we won't see you on in December, and we know some activity has been a little haywire lately. There was just a man got killed yesterday in Northeast by officers. What is y'all's role or current dynamic? You all represent, y'all work in PSAs that represent 5D. What is y'all's honest dynamic and role with federal officers right now at this time? And how can we either be more aware on how to navigate that dynamic, or at least just stay out of trouble? Because like I said, these federal officers, they're here for blood. They're not, you know, I know they're trying to get these numbers down, but they're doing it at any means cost. So sometimes we might be having a bad day and we're not here to, you know, deal with any of that either. So I'm just trying to like think about how we can prevent conflict here.
So for us, it's a business as usual patrol. As on the patrol side, we get our assignment, we go out on patrol. As far as our federal partners is concerned, they are assigned to the crime suppression team. They go out and do the more proactive work, like traffic stops, you know, approaching groups. That's them. But Lieutenant Devlin, Lieutenant Brown, and Brown. Yeah. Lieutenant Devlin and Lieutenant Brown will be able to elaborate more on that. But for us, patrol, we just business as usual. We don't enforce any type of immigration issues. So for example, if I stop you for no permit, and let's say I found out you don't have any papers or
We don't know, yeah, we don't notify.
we don't notify
It's a
anybody,
regular. When you get citation out, you have nothing offender,
then yeah.
and everything goes normal for it, it's like the regular process.
Pre-trial gets to make a call if you go downtown or if you get released with a court date.
question, so if y'all see the federals doing something illegal to one of the citizens, what would y'all do as officers?
You have to report
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna step in and say something.
If he's doing something illegal, I have to report it and vice versa, because
Okay,
like we have something called able. Like, let's say I see him breaking the law and I don't report it, I'm just as responsible. Yeah.
So when you're reporting it after the fact, not in real time.
Oh, no, you have to intervene
okay.
and then report.
I mean, if feeling's gonna get hurt, but
Yeah.
I'm stopping it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you got you on camera saying this.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioners, were there any other questions for these gentlemen? Any questions from the public?
Can you all just repeat the projecting of the car death numbers in the last 30 days?
Last 30 days, so it went from 32 to 12. So theft from autos, that's another one. 38 to 18.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, we appreciate your time. You be safe out there.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good night.
It's
Do we have Christian Stargill tonight? I don't know if there's any other commissioners, I can see if they're available. The office of the mayor. If not, Andriana, I believe, is here tonight. Miss Lovelace, it looks like it's all you. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My
Hello.
name is Andriana Lovelace. I am the Constituent Service Coordinator for Councilmember
Hold on a
Tappan.
sec, we need to turn you up a little bit.
Want me to speak up?
Go ahead, go ahead. Try that.
Good evening. I'm Andriana. I am the Constituent Service Coordinator for Councilmember Parker's office. Here are a few brief announcements. This Thursday, This Thursday, November 20th, from 12 to 5 p.m., we'll be hosting a Thanksgiving giveaway at Turkey Thicket Recreation Center. We'll be providing grocery bags that will include green beans, corn, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, etc. Tomorrow's the last day to sign up to reserve a bag, and we will also deliver to senior and disabled neighbors. On the 4th of November, the council voted to decouple our local tax code from the federal tax code. This was essential because the One Big Beautiful Bill passed by Congress contained 84 tax related provisions that would have reduced the district's revenue by more than $600 million over the financial plan. This revenue win presented a tremendous opportunity to meet the needs of hundreds of thousands of struggling Washingtonians amid rising costs, federal impacts, and more. Councilmember Parker and Fruman led the effort and introduced an amendment that used a modest amount of the revenue to fund the first ever district child tax credit and accelerate the expansion of the earned income tax credit. This means cash in the pockets of everyday Washingtonians at a time when it's needed at most. This Thursday, November 20th at 6 p.m., DPR will hold their Ward 5 Capital Projects community meeting. You can get updates on all the DPR capital projects that are happening across Ward 5, and you can sign up on our newsletter if you need the link. Like Commissioner McCray had said earlier, ERAP is opening, so that is the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. It opens this Thursday at 9 a.m. ERAP is changing how they do things, so you would need to schedule an appointment to apply for ERAP. You can do that by calling the number 202-507-6666, or you will have to visit Virginia Williams Family Resource Center. Snow shoveling, also Commissioner McCray probably said this, snow shoveling exemption for seniors and persons with disabilities. You can apply by December 2nd. So DPW is doing the Winter Sidewalk Safety Act. It requires district residents to remove snow and ice from the paved sidewalks, curb ramps, and curb cuts abutting their property after a snowstorm. Qualified residents who are disabled and or 65 or older are exempt from this enforcement with an approved exemption. Exempts qualified residents from enforcement by DPW for not removing snow and ice from their sidewalks within the first 8 hours of daylight after the end of a winter snowstorm. You have to be approved, and residents must apply every other year to DPW to continue to receive this exemption. And then lastly, tomorrow, November 19th at 6:30 p.m., there is an RFK redevelopment scoping meeting. ANC 5D is the Ward 5 ANC that is closest to and probably the most impacted by this redevelopment. And we are encouraging neighbors to attend. I'll drop the link in the chat. And then lastly, our team attended last night's meeting at Cremill Community Center community meeting hosted by DPR.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Sure. Go ahead, repeat that.
Our team attended last night's Cremill's Community Center meeting. Like Commissioner Rose gave her updates. Councilmember Parker's office wants to express that we share neighbors' frustration on the changes and delays to this critical project. Councilmember Parker has requested a meeting with DPR Director Freeman to elevate these concerns and to get clarity on DPR's plan for rebuilding trust and moving the project forward. That's all I have tonight, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, thank you so much, Adriana. I have just a question on the ERAP. You said the folks have to set an appointment to apply. Can they do that right now, or they still have to wait till the 20th?
I believe you can do it now. No, you have to wait. No, you have to wait till, sorry. Yes, you have to wait till November 20th at 9 a.m. to schedule an appointment or go to Virginia
Perfect.
Woods.
Thank you.
And can you give us that email for the exempt 65 and over exemption for snow shoveling?
Yes, I'm gonna drop that in the chat right now.
Okay, thanks.
Uh, I see Ms. Diggs, Juanita Diggs, you had a question?
Hi, yes, good evening, Adriana, how are you? Andriana, I'm sorry. So I'm wondering, I found out that council member chose not to give turkeys this year and also not to have a holiday party. Now, I know that a lot of nonprofits funding was cut, so that's one of the capabilities for you to procure a turkey, but are we being chastised in some way as Ward 5 residents? This is the first time in I don't know how many years that that has ever happened.
I don't believe we're being chastised. We're still giving
We
away
can't
Thanksgiving
hear you.
bags. You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Oh, okay. We don't believe we're
Yes.
being chastised. We're still giving away Thanksgiving bags. It was just a problem I've heard last year. Some people got green turkeys, and so we don't want to be responsible for giving someone something that could get sick. And so we're still wanting to give something, but just not turkeys this year. And other community partners are also still giving turkeys. So yeah.
Okay.
And as far as the party, we're encouraging neighbors to attend the council's party, DC council's party.
We do acknowledge that the councilor's office has been dropping a good amount of change on the community this year, so we can understand if maybe we had to skip out on a party, it's worth just to making sure some folks are fed, so we appreciate that, overall in general. Were there any questions from the commissioners or the public for the councilor's office? No? Oh, go ahead.
I have a comment. I just want to thank the council member's office for supporting the community of Ivy City when it comes down to the mineral project. We are frustrated, yes, we are, and we just appreciate the support. Ivy City don't get a lot of support, but we really appreciate Councilmember Parker stepping up and helping us with this situation. And if possible, can I get an update from the meeting with DPR?
Yes, I'll give you a call after this. Well, when I get the details.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, perfect. It is 8:23. We'll do the consent and then we'll go ahead and do a quick recess. So we can get the BZ folks situated for their presentation. So, thank you, Adriana, for joining us today. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you around some of these holiday events and hopefully we can get some good folks that need it. Miss, before we go into that, I did see an not a potential announcement. Do we still have them? Wanda, are you still there? You said you had maybe some potential food distribution for folks. I just want to plug that if you do. Because I can't help but make sure that folks get, food if they can get it. You still there, Wanda? No, I'll just move. You can always drop the information in the chat. You can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Am I to speak now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you. I am Minister Wanda Lofton with the Destiny Church, and we do have some food that we would like to offer to those in the community. We are right there at the La Quinta Inn, and we'll be serving food starting around 9:30 in the morning until around 12:30 or 1 for those in the community who want to come. It's going to be a Thanksgiving meal. So I have a flyer that I want to pass across as well.
Okay, you can drop the flyer in the chat or you can email it to us directly. When is this date?
It's going to be this Sunday, and at 9:30 we have the first service, and then at 10:30 there's another service, and after that, immediately after that, we'll have the meal. And so we just want to invite those that are wanting to come and be a part of that. so that they can come. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
All right. So where shall I send the flyer?
You can email it to 5D05 @anc.dc.gov and
Five-
5D. We'll
Five.
drop it in the chat for you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Because they've been doing God's work.
Did you say 5D05?
Yes, and 5D02. D is in dog.
Can you put it in the chat for me, please?
Thank you. One of the commissioners just dropped it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, sorry, I had to make sure we get folks with any opportunity to get fed.
Yeah.
Our consent calendar items, so we're doing good on time, we're gonna get y'all out of here early still, so we got consent calendar items here. We have items that commissioners have agreed to place on the consent calendar, and we approve this placement at tonight's meeting during our adoption of the agenda. Before I go into the consent calendar motion, were there any changes or any other questions from commissioners or the public on any of the items in the consent calendar?
Oh, I have a question. I didn't understand. Should this be the zoning committee testimony or the BZA committee testimony? The BZA testimony. I
Yeah,
didn't notice that before.
that testimony is what you provided at the BCA hearing on
This
February
is
9th.
just the zoning committee testimony, not the BZA hearing testimony.
Well, it's probably labeled like that on the agenda, but it's still just your testimony.
Oh,
Mhm. Was there any other questions? Okay, with that being said, I move that we approve tonight's consent calendar item as amended. Can I get a second on this motion? Second by Commissioner G Campbell. All in favor of approving tonight's consent calendar items, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, commissioners. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute recess so folks can go ahead and walk away from the computer, get a drink if you haven't already, because you know, what's today, Tuesday, right? And we still going. And we get our next matter situated, which is our BZA case for 1253 Moore Street Northeast. So please don't leave us, as we'll be talking about a big project. Thank you.
I checked out.
Okay.
Hello, okay, and we're back. So now we have our voting action items. First, we have BZA case 21361 1253 North Street Northeast. And we have the folks on this project here to present. We should have screen share abilities to do your presentation. And you should be able to unmute yourselves to speak.
Great. Thank you for allowing us to still present. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Adam Carballo, architect of record. And
Go ahead.
yes, I'm architect of record and principal to Carballo Architecture. I also have Shima Safina, who's our senior design associate, on the call as well. And we have been in communication with the different ANC groups over the last several months, going back to midsummer or so, and we like the opportunity to continue our discussion here tonight. We are presenting uh, the BZA case for 1253 Moore Street Northeast. And we have two appeals going before the BZA on December 10th. We originally were planning on presenting in front of the BZA last month. However, we agreed to
Can you
have.
speak up, Adam, a bit?
Yeah.
Can you
Sure.
speak up a bit? Yeah.
Can this better? We were initially planning on going before the BZA last month. However, we agreed to postpone that date until December 10th to allow for more time for communication with the local ANC. And I have our presentation that I'd like to, if everyone can see my screen. This is our project site. As you can see, we're looking for two special exceptions. One, subtitle U 320.2, conversion of an existing residential building existing prior to May 12, 1958 to an apartment house shall be permitted as a special exception in the RF1 zoning if approved by Board of Zoning Adjustments under Subtitle X, Chapter 9. There shall be a minimum of 900 square feet of land area per each existing and new dwelling unit. The required lot area for 4 dwelling units is 3,600 square feet. Our subject lot area is 3,644, thus in full compliance with the requirements of the special exception. So that is our first appeal of two. The second appeal that we have before the board is subtitle E 207.5 pursuant to chapter subtitle E 5201, proposed rear addition to extend 20 feet beyond the adjoining building face to the east. Those are our two appeals. All other improvements to this property are proposed as a matter of right that don't include a BZA appeal. In our discussions with the local single member district with the ANC, we have modified our original design from originally presented. Our subject property is this structure right here. It's a semi-detached. There is a relatively new development that's adjacent to us that has built all the way to the property line. We're actually abiding by the side yard setback, unlike this property that was constructed recently. This is the rear of our existing structure, and you can kind of see the structure that was built next to ours.
we have a fairly large lot, 3,600 square feet. We are proposing to go back an additional 10 feet beyond the existing footprint. There is an existing bump out on the ground floor that our neighboring property does not have, which necessitates the second appeal, because technically we'd be going back 20 feet beyond the adjoining property. However, in reality, we're only extending back 10 feet beyond our current footprint. We do propose to remove two trees. One of them is very dead, you can see here, and the other one is has a heavy lean to it and is very, very close to the existing property. The adjoining new construction has a sort of a very shallow light well that has a 5-foot fence that I've measured here in this photograph that separates that light well from our property. Site plan. This is our existing building footprint. This is the new footprint that we are adding that I'm highlighting. We are also adding a third floor. However, that is allowed as a matter of right, and not part of our appeal. You can see from this site plan that the adjoining property that was already constructed with this light well actually extends an additional 5'2" beyond what we're requesting. And then there's a further 8'2" 3-tiered balcony at the rear of it. The property that we share a party wall with is an unoccupied property that has not been improved yet. It does have a deck, an existing deck on the back of it, as shown here, but technically the building face is 10 feet 10 feet less than our current property. And there are some properties to the 1257 that have had improvements to them since their original construction. Our program, we've actually reduced our program from originally we were proposing 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom units. Based on feedback, we actually cut back the side small bump out that we have to reduce our program to 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom units for each of the dwelling units that we're proposing. The rear bedrooms, which would have an ensuite bathroom, are of a generous size, but certainly not like sort of unduly large. They're modest 2-bedroom apartments with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms apiece. We are proposing fibrous, painted fibrous cement of a gray color. The third floor would be set back from the front architectural element at the cornice as per planning department regulations. We are also providing for like a sort of English basement style cellar access that would allow natural light into the lower portion. As part of our work with the ANC, we conducted an extensive sunshade study at their request. And we have a 26-page sun study that we have conducted. I'm happy to go through each page and share with this with the board, or if there are specific questions. You can see our subject property here in the center, 1251, which is the recently improved building with the very small light well. Our adjoining property, 1255, as well as properties at 1257, 59, and so forth. This is the existing condition. This is the proposed condition. Again, sort of a fairly modest rear addition. In our sunshade study, there are 2 fairly mature trees that exist along the property line of 55 and 57. However, we've omitted those trees for the purposes of our shade study to show a worst case scenario. Um, how we organize the sunshade study is we've modeled the adjoining properties sort of on either side of our property. We've showed the sun path per GPS, and we took images at 8 a.m., midday, and late in the day for both existing and proposed. So you can see in early January where the sun is shining from this direction, um, basically no impact to neighbors. And that cycles through depending on time of day, time of year. There's virtually no impact um, from our building. There is impact from the larger building, and there's also impact from other existing buildings onto ours, but certainly not a undue impact to adjoining properties. And Shima, have I left anything out? But we look forward to answering any of your questions. And if I've left out anything, Shima can fill in for.
I mean, we've also updated our burden of proof. We've uploaded it on ISIS, so it's like officially documented there. But we're also happy to go through our updated burden of proof with you if needed.
Okay, perfect. Was that the end of your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So this is an opportunity for us to ask questions. Are there any commissioners right now at this time with questions? Commissioner Rowland, I'll open the floor to you first because this is in your single member district.
Well, I think it would be a good idea to read the burden of proof.
Can you share the burden of proof?
I can. It's a 8-page document.
Can you just summarize it?
Well, so yeah. So again, we have 2 appeals before the BZA, both under special exception. The first one regards the number of dwelling units. The criteria being the age of the property. The property is existing, and we also fulfill the minimum requirements for lot area to provide 4 dwelling units. We meet all of that criteria per the designation in the zoning code. We meet the criteria. You're allowed to do it. Further, the second appeal with respect to the rear addition for the so-called 10-foot rule. Let me find the exact.
Adam, I think it starts from this page if you want to go where it says A. If you scroll down just a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this page.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would start there.
yeah, so light and air availability in the neighbor's property shall not be unduly affected. The granting of this property, or an extension beyond 10 foot, you have to prove that there is not undue impact to neighboring properties. I think we've successfully proven that with the extensive sunshade study that we have provided. And the term, I'm trying to find the actual specific technical language from the zoning code, that
I think I have the language you're looking for, if I may.
Yeah,
So
Shane, if you
I
can.
think, so it says an application for special exception relief under these sections shall demonstrate that the proposed addition, new principal building or accessory structure shall not have a substantially adverse effect on the use or enjoyment of any abutting or adjacent dwelling or property.
Yeah, I mean, the key term there is substantive adverse. So that's not to say there is no effect. I mean, certainly when you're dealing with semi-detached structures, attached structures, anytime there is an addition, there's a change, there's a difference. And that's not the criteria as set forth for the board or for this appeal. The appeal is not substantively adverse impact, which is certainly not present in this case. So therefore, both of our appeals meet the requirements of the special exception as well as the burden of proof for both.
I don't have any other questions.
Adam, for the record, for the public that's not too familiar with some of the changes that occurred, what has changed since the BZA hearing in October to today with this project?
Sure, there have been several changes. The first change was we originally actually requested a relief from the side yard setback. We eliminated that by cutting back the building to meet matter of right side yard setback requirements. Another additional change was the program of each unit. We originally had 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, albeit they were very small bedrooms. The question was, that I think there was a concern with the number of bedrooms. Nevertheless, we spoke with our client, and he and she agreed to reduce the program to 2-bed, 2-bath, which allowed us to actually cut back that side addition. Further to that, we also agreed to create a planting buffer along this property line here for purposes of privacy. Neighboring, some of the neighbors to this direction had questions and concerns about privacy. So we agreed to provide this planting buffer, this landscape buffer.
If I may add, there was also a spiral staircase at the rear of the property that neighbors were concerned about that we removed altogether.
Okay. And just to clarify for the record, are there any other 4-unit properties on this block at this time?
I can actually show. So our property is this one right here. There is obviously, this is before improvement here. This is, I believe, a 3-unit. And then across the street, there is a fairly large apartment building here. I do not know the number of units that are present in this building. But it's a pretty substantial apartment building. There's also another substantial apartment building, several doors down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 doors down. And there's also this one as well. I do not know the number of units in these buildings. But there is a mix of housing on this particular street that does include single family, some semi-detached structures, some attached structures, as well as apartment buildings. So it is not without precedent, and certainly given the lot size in RF1, we meet the criteria to provide 4 units, and this is by no means a sort of the stereotypical greedy landlord that just wants to cram as many units as possible. This is a person who's owned the property since 1990, who really saved his money for a very long time to be able to do this project. And his brother lives in the property, And their goal is to renovate the property that they've owned for 35 years.
Oh, okey. Questions from the public? Go ahead. Here's a mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. So I'm Andrew Carey. I live at 1257 Moore Street, 2 doors down. Mr. Cavallo, Shima, good to see you again. We've had a lot of discussions, I'm sure. We'll keep this going. I think, I speak for some of the neighbors in the immediate vicinity. We very much appreciate you guys, elimination or reducing the size of the requirement, kind of reducing the scale and keeping an open dialogue. I still have to say though, for 1257, we still do have some concerns about shading, but also precedent along the front block. One of the reasons why we moved Moore Street, or we love Moore Street, is because there are, not high density buildings outside of, I believe if I'm not mistaken, it is a women's abuse shelter. It's the very, very large building, which has a very clear public good. And at 1251, which I know was very aggressive with the so as a resident, we still have concerns over shading where that goes, but I certainly do appreciate the efforts of Mr. Cavallo and his associates of continuing to open up this dialogue. One of the things that we would be open to and would hope that the owner and would be open to is maybe aligning the rear, reducing that a little bit to align with 1257 and the rest of that block. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we have had that conversation with him. That would require us to take 3 feet out of the building, which would substantially impact the 2 bedrooms that we are providing. I think that we've done a real exhaustive study of the sun shading impact, and there's basically no impact. I respect your concern. I know that you're new to this neighborhood and you've recently chosen it. And I can imagine it is, concerning. You've moved in the neighborhood and then all of a sudden, less than 6 months later, there's a project a couple doors down. Certainly that can be of concern. I will say, that is 28 feet away and it's only a 3-foot difference. And we've, I think, demonstrated through an extensive sunshade that, and again, we've purposely removed the trees here. When you add the trees, there's certainly going to be natural shade cast by those trees at different times of year to different intensities. But I think those concerns, would, I think in practice, they're not going to impact you in a way that you think they will.
Can you
Based
please
on,
show summer evenings?
of course. So, this, this is July 1st at 6 p.m. This is the existing context without our building at all. And you can see here that the sun that is in this view, in this position in the sky, all of these windows on the side are already in shade at 6 p.m. So regardless of whether our building is here or not, you have more shade on the siding of your house, but it's certainly not impacting the windows that is already present. Again, looking at in the afternoon, this is July 1st at 2 p.m. Existing, where the sun is higher in the sky. Sun is coming from this angle. Again, no impact to your windows existing or proposed.
I'm sorry.
You can see the line of the that it's cast, that's really from your own roof. there is no impact from our building here between existing and proposed. Again, 8 a.m., this is existing. You see where the sun is coming from this direction. Again, your own building actually casts a shadow into this property. You know, and adding the addition, everybody's in the shadow at 8 a.m. on July 1st, just because of the angle of the sun. So that doesn't have any impact from our building onto your building. And for
Commissioner Rhodes?
so this and
We
then
have a question.
sure, go ahead.
Okay, from what I'm seeing, the windows are gonna be blocked. 1257 windows is gonna be blocked by 1253, is that correct? Is it
Are the
gonna be
window-
blocked by that building?
They're going to be blocked in which way?
The windows that's on 1257, if you bring 1253 further back, will the view from those windows be blocked?
The view of what?
Of the windows at 1257. There's windows back there,
We
correct?
you
Are
have
these
windows, you have windows on the
Yes.
side here, yes.
Right there, on the
Yes.
side, will those windows be blocked if you bring 1253 back any further? Or are they already blocked? Is
There,
there a view from those windows at 1257? Do you
I
have a
mean,
view?
there's a giant tree here, and then your only view is that
Hold
of
on,
this.
speaking to the resident. I'm speaking to the residents that's here in person.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Is there a view from those windows on the side of your building? Is there a view, can you see?
I mean, yeah, you could view all, I guess, southwest from those windows, so obviously 1255, 1257, and definitely past 1251 through to the alley and some of the adjacent properties that are on Florida Ave.
So you do have a view, but if that building is brought back any further, you'll be looking at the side of. You'll be looking at the side of that building.
Yes.
And not a view.
Yes,
Well-
so the architect is correct, there are currently 4 adjacent trees, I believe mostly on 1255. However, obviously shading from trees, it's not quite the same as a wall. We do have views, the windows, as the resident I'm most particularly concerned about are the adjacent ones on, I guess, the south facing wall, so there's a dining room and a guest bedroom in our home. Those would be pretty much covered in shade for most of the year with the
other building.
from the rear extension. I do think that a slight reduction of rear extension would certainly minimize that impact. But as the resident, that's our concern.
Okay, and Mr. Carvalho, these trees that circle, those are trees that you cut down?
No. There are 4 mature trees. One of them's dead, that needs to be removed, and the other one that's closest to our building corner, that's going to be removed. But there are 2 massive trees along the property line that are shared between 55 and 57 that are going to remain. And those, I mean, you can see it kind of clear as day here in this image. These trees here are staying. We're talking about addition that's going to come back 3 feet beyond their property, 3 feet past their home. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but mentioned a view to the southwest, which is actually this view. We're again 28 feet away and going back 3 feet. If the tree doesn't block his view, this building certainly is not going to block his view. And I would question what the view of what feature that we're our backyard or the alley. Um, not to question the concern, but we're talking about windows that are here, and this is our addition here. This is in no way going to block any of these views out towards.
Two of our largest windows are on east dashing on the cutback, on the flat one, are two large windows on the first and second floor, correct there.
Right.
And so what their concerns are not your concerns.
I think if I go back to the criteria of how the special exception is weighed, it's uh, adverse impact. This is part of um, living in a semi-attached property or an attached property. People do build and improve their properties adjacent to you. Um, that's not to say that I think there's settled zoning case that you don't have a right to a view. You have a right to light and air, but not to a view, especially a view to a public alley. And I think that you're talking about a property here that has already been improved that goes back 7 feet beyond our current property, I'll add. We're adding a modest 3 foot beyond their footprint, and we're 28 feet away. This is no way is going to adversely negatively impact them.
So we have one question from Ryan Carl for like the last 10 minutes, and I'll let Ryan speak and answer a question.
Sure.
Hi, thank you to the commission for allowing me this opportunity. I am also a resident on Morse Street, a few blocks down. I do love Morse Street and I would like to stay here. And I think ultimately when we choose to live in a city, it means that the city is going to change. And in a growing city, we basically have two options. One is adding more housing and more density, which may mean that the view outside of our window changes. And the other is homelessness. Like there is no way in which our neighborhood is not going to change. And so we can either choose to allow for more housing or to see our neighbors unhoused because people can no longer afford to live here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. We have one question from the public.
Hi, hello. Susanna Di Piedra, 1251 building. Is it here? Nice to meet you. Finally, I can see you. So I'm talking about myself and talking about my wife, Liza Freedom. And we can't support this project because I don't know if please can you show just exist building or the new building, just because I want to explain what we have now. We have a unit with a little patio, and in the patio we have a window in the kitchen, two windows in the hallway, and a big window in the bedroom. The big window you can come out of the patio, and we have a nice space over there. Right now we have a nice light because the next building is for us the right height. And from the kitchen, I have a view. I can see the tree, I can see the sky. This is amazing. So thinking about the next project, we can't see anything and we can't go outside that patio. The reason that we bought the condo, the unit is also for that. Yeah, it's nice. We appreciate that you took off the bump out because before the first project was very impact a lot. And yeah, the little bump out, the little and the height, especially the turn unit, so impact us a lot. So we, for all the year, for all the 4 season, we live in the shade. For all the season, for 365 days. And the picture, maybe, yeah, it's fine. We're talking about 1257. The 1257 is okay, but 1251 really live in the shade completely. We asked them the sunlight study, we asked them the shade study, and we didn't get answer from them. So if we can have that from you, it's a pleasure. And so, yes, you can see. So over there in that all we live in the shade, just to say that. And in the summer it's nice because the sunset will be in the 9 o'clock of the night, and maybe people like to enjoy it outside, you know. But that's our concert. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if I can address that, you've recently purchased one of the condo units in this building next to ours. Is that's correct?
Yes.
And this property, again, the woman who spoke, she was not the developer, or the the decider, but she has chosen to recently move in. This property built all the way to the property line. There's zero setback on the side. There are zero windows, as you can see on the side of the property, with the exception of this very narrow, what they call a light well, but really provides very little in the way of light. It creates its own shadow in this structure. Um, it's barely 6 feet wide and goes up 3 stories. It's kind of a cave or sort of a crevasse almost. Um, eh, Basically, if I look at our site plan, you can kind of see that light well here. We're not changing the building footprint whatsoever in front of this light well. We're abiding by the side yard setback. We're abiding by the height limitation. There's virtually nothing that we're going to be able to do here to prevent or sort of negatively impact this light well, because everything that we're doing here is a matter of right. Whether or not our building ends here or ends here or ends here, that's going to have zero impact to this light well. Per our sunshade study, I can look at every single one of these slides, and there is shadow into this light well because it's so small. I would, I mean, clearly this property was built, and that was the risk that they took to build right to the property line and provide no side windows. They could have clearly brought this building back to within, 3 to 5 feet of the property line and provided windows. However, they chose not to. And everything that we're doing is a matter of right, with respect to the side of this property and how it impacts this light well. And again, I think we've tried, we've gone to great extent to show a very comprehensive light shade study to show that there is not an overly undue impact to the adjoining properties.
Okay, so we're over on time on this. We do have to make two.
I need to make a statement, like we always get to make a statement if it's our SMD on a BZA case. I'll make it short. We always make a statement on our BZA cases.
I don't think that's true, like, you have a minute.
We always have. No, we always have.
No.
So the community is very much against this development. We had 10 letters of opposition, 3 parties in opposition, and someone else wanted to be a party, but it was too late. So even though they did make some improvements, both 1257 is not, is in opposition to it, and so is 1251. And I believe that it's not, healthy for the neighborhood. See, it's a long story as to the history of, what happened with it. The case file started out with an extreme amount of errors in it. A few weeks before the BZA, they added another special exception, which was a total surprise to us, to go 20 feet back in the rear instead of 10 feet. We requested more information from the shadow study, but they did not reply, did not even reply, and did not do that. So the shadow study was lacking for 1251. Which was really not okay, because you could not actually see what was happening with the window. And Suzanne can explain that better, but we had asked them to clarify that and they didn't. And you can't not clearly see, because of that, what exactly is happening with the light in 1251. 1255 are going to sell, so they're not interested in the case. But the residents of 1257, as Andrew has said, is also concerned about the light. They had communicated to Shima and Adam that they would support the project if they built within right, except for their occupancy exception. And they said that they could compromise if they brought the project back a few feet to make the relief more modest, which would improve light for all the properties. But Shima and Adam simply did not reply, and they left it at 20 feet in the back. They could have taken off a couple feet and they would have had support from 1257. And 1257 also felt that there was a question whether the shade study is accurate because of some scale issues they noticed. And they were ultimately very concerned about the precedent and trend of reliefs being the rule instead of the exception. So I think it's clear that giving the substance of this case, saying something like, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a view or not, just seems just off the grass to me. Completely apart from how this company has treated the ANC, I feel that, you know, we were not treated with respect that we deserve. They went to the BZA before our vote, and that is unheard of. But the substance of the case is what's most important. So, we don't have the truth, the exact truth about how the light would be for 1251. That is a fact. And 1257 was willing to support them if they dropped a few feet, but they just didn't respond, basically. So, I don't feel good about this, and I hope that you all oppose.
If I can comment on that, we've had 6 months of negotiations and comments. I think that we have shown nothing but respect and professional courtesy to all involved. And to say that we have been unresponsive is really troubling, because we have been incredibly responsive. We followed everything by the book. We have provided evidence after evidence. We've provided, you know, everything that you've requested. We've had special meetings with parties involved. We've also, you know, I think there are some procedural issues that we had, I guess, that we clarified with Mr. Reed at the zoning office, that were your, you know, Ms. Roblin, you were requesting certain procedural things to happen in a certain sequence that was not actually correct. And we had to request that Mr. Reed clarify those actions and those sequence of events. We also had, but no, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. We also had neighbors that now have issue with the property not attend the first two ANC meetings that we attended. Um, I think to say that you still don't understand the sunshade study after we've provided a 26-page in-depth, thorough analysis of the sunshade to show that there is no negative impact. Um, I'm not sure what else we can provide to you that gets the point across any clearer.
You did
And
not
certainly,
have.
and certain,
Sorry,
ma'am, if I could please finish my
I'm
statement.
sorry, I
no,
apologize.
15 minutes, we need to get this over with.
Um, we're talking about something that is 3 feet past their home that's 28 feet away and is, um, and there's a giant mature tree that is 60 feet tall in between that is going to provide so much more shade onto their property than anything that we would build here. And I find it distressing that two properties on either side of us that have built out further than ours are the ones that are telling us that we're building too much. Um, we're building back 10 feet beyond where we are right now. Your confusion between 10 and 20 feet, I think was a confusion or a misunderstanding of the appeal, not a fault of ours. And I mean, with that, I think that we have proven that we meet the burden of proof for both of these appeals. And we look forward to presenting this to the BZA on December 10th. We would like your
Thank you, Adam,
support.
for all the information today. We really appreciate your opportunity to speak with us to present this project. I know you submitted this material, was it tonight, to the IZ? So we didn't have.
Most recent.
We didn't have a good amount of time to review your most recent material, but we still appreciate you all joining us tonight. Mr. Olenka, I know you're watching and we understand that you own this property for a good amount of decades now, so we do appreciate your interest to invest in the community still. But there is obviously opposition to the project. Density, it could be good or bad. We don't see a lot of these homes turn into 4 units in Trinidad in particular. And I know the majority of us just wish we would have seen this project just a little bit differently, but we do appreciate the difference from the project that was presented to the BZA in October to a project that's being presented tonight, because it sounded like you did take some of our feedback. With that being said, I'll place two motions on the floor. One to move that we approve for Commissioner Anna Rovland and co-zoning chair Skip Keats to speak for ANC 5D at the next BZA hearing. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCray. All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
And any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it on that one. With this second motion, it'll be for the project itself in terms of ANC 5D approving or opposing this project. Would you like to make the motion, Commissioner Roblin?
I move that we oppose this project.
Okay, Commissioner Roblin, get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner G. Campbell. Any needed discussion? Discussion?
So I guess, like, I'm hearing what the residents are saying, I guess, is there an opportunity to just post, I know this has been a minute, is there an opportunity to just postpone? Go back to the drawing board and come back again, is there since this is already a standing home, is there an opportunity to postpone? Cause I'm hearing a lot of different miscommunications. So I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity to just postpone until maybe January, February, go back to the drawing board. And potentially come back with something that has a better consensus with the community.
Mr. Carvalho, is there an opportunity for more time on this?
I don't think so. My client does not want to reduce this any more than he already has. He's gone, bent over backwards to reduce the scale of this project. This meets the mayor and city council's goal of increasing density, increasing housing in the district, as that other neighbor mentioned. And the whole purpose of RF1 is to encourage this type of development. We are meeting the burden of proof for both. And I don't see any further discussions actually going to get us anywhere. I think it's just going to delay our day before the BZA.
Okay, it's not solid on that.
Can I ask one other question? What's the plan to make this affordable for the neighborhood? Cause, a lot of the houses over there, we have a median income in this area.
A lot of the new developments are not affordable.
They're not
So what's the consensus on this project? Do we move the IZ unit from the basement? Like, what's the consensus for affordability?
There is an IZ unit proposed on the ground floor, which is one of the nicest units in the building. As far as accessibility, as far as, ceiling height. It has the tallest ceilings in the building. It has the easiest ingress and egress to have it on the first floor. So we
What
are
are gonna be the price range in these condos when they go for sale?
Yeah, I'm the architect, not the developer or not the property owner, so I can't really speak to what they're gonna be, costing or anything like that.
Okay, it's fine. I thought that they're gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
1 minute.
I believe that the IZ unit is at 80% of the market price, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Motion on the floor, it was second by Commissioner G. Campbell. The motion on the floor is to oppose this project. We'll do roll calls to get the correct tally. 5-0-1.
The motion is to oppose.
Oppose the project.
Okay, nay.
Nay, okay. 5-0-2. 5-0-3.
Oppose.
5-0-4.
Wait, is the opposing, opposing? Can you say oppose?
My nay was intended to oppose the opposition.
Opposed, Commissioner Toby opposes the opposition against the motion.
They also vote to oppose.
Oppose the,
Oppose the project. We also
So you're
oppose the
guessing,
project.
yeah.
so but let's clarify, the motion is to oppose this project. The motion is to oppose this project. If you're saying oppose, that means you approve this project. So let's reevaluate. Thank you, Commissioner, for the question. 5-0-1.
Nay.
5-0-2.
I oppose the project.
You.
So say aye.
You say aye.
You
made your motion.
Yeah.
I to opposing, yes to opposing.
5-0-3, aye. 5-0-4.
Abstain.
5-0-5, I say aye. To oppose, 5-0-6.
Abstain.
5-0-9.
Nay.
What was that?
Means you oppose the project or?
No, I'm against it.
So you're in
Against the
support
project.
so you're in support of this motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many was that? Andy, I didn't get that. Cause we need to get a vote, we can't walk away with no vote.
For this.
Yeah, or who are opposed, so who voted aye. One who voted nay.
Okay, so the motion.
The motion to
Okay,
oppose.
so motion to oppose passes. Thank you for clarifying in my head here. Okay, Mr. Kawai, again, thank you so much for doing this tonight for us. We kind of know what direction this was heading in, but I will say this project does look a lot better than what we saw in October. Commissioner Rodman and Skip Keats will be speaking on behalf of ANC 5D to follow up with any questions or comments. We just wish y'all the best of luck with the BZA hearing.
Thank you. We look forward to presenting as well on December 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, with that being said, we have some final items. We went way over on that one. That was 50 minutes. We have a hiring of our social media and communications coordinator. We have made an effort to hire someone to help us with our social media front, help us with our analytics and projects moving forward in the community. We decided to go with. Let's forget that last name, I don't written down. Thank you. We decided to move forward with one of the applicants that applied, Whitney Daniels. I move that we approve Whitney Daniels for the hiring of social. I move that we approve, thank you. I move that we approve the hiring of Whitney Daniel for social media and communications coordinator. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chovy. Was there any needed discussion? Okay, 5D01,
Aye.
5D02, 5D03,
Aye.
5D04, 5D05 is aye, 5D06, and 5D09. Thank you, the ayes carry. Whitney Daniel has been hired as a social media and communications coordinator. Additional admin hours for November. I just want to make a motion for our admins, just for the record, for our admins work statement, because at this time, they currently are only allowed to be budgeted at $750 a month, which is about $27 an hour, about 25 hours. So I just want to make a motion for the record for our minutes and for our personnel records. I move that ANC 5D files, no, that's not it, sorry. I didn't, do you have a Commissioner Ray? You have the motion actually. I'm sorry, I tried to for this motion, so we can allow them to work a little bit extra, just in case we have to make them do some extra work.
Alright. So I'm moving. I move that we update the administrative assistant's work statement to include the following. Additional hours beyond the $750 month cap may be allotted with prior written approval from ANC 5D's executive team. That written approval can be in an email format, but just so that we have this as we go forward with other months forthcoming. So that's the motion on the table. So I move that additional hours beyond the $750 a month cap be allotted with prior written approval from ANC 5D's executive team.
Can we get a second for the motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wellman, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. For the following of our ANC 5G annual report, do we have to make anything on that? I do have a motion here that I move that we follow the ANC 5. I move that ANC 5G follows their annual report no later than November 30th with a final review from the executive team prior to filing. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCray. All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We did have one final action item that we had to move out of the consent calendar, which was specifically our trash beautification supplies and urea. As we said, we've been doing some good work and we need some more trash bags, trash pickers, our first aid kit and disposable gloves. This is being allocated to a budget cost cap at $1,500. With that being said, I move that we approve this proposal to resupply our trash cleanup supplies. Can I get a second on this motion? Second by Commissioner G Campbell. Any discussion on this item? Okay, with that being said, we have a motion on the floor, second by Commissioner G Campbell. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the ayes carry. Thank you for that. With that being said, we have a moment for community feedback and questions. Were there any community questions or feedback needed for the commission or from the public? Were there any other last minute things to discuss or plug?
I guess one kind of thing, I did see a question in the chat just about how to find out about the overarching events that were mentioned tonight. You can try to get the website update, but if you like, feel free to reach out to any commissioners here and we can kind of get you an overarching list of everything that was mentioned tonight, just so you have kind of date, time, location of everything.
And that's something that our comms will also help as well. But if you ever like, oh my God, they talk about something and I don't remember, always look at our YouTube. Always look for YouTube, the recording is right there. But with our comms, our new comms coordinator, please be on the lookout for much more information being dropped into the community. With that being said, commissioners, it's 9:38 p.m.
I don't see anything else. There is a Citizens Advisory Council meeting, I believe this Thursday in the fifth district. They'll be giving out a plate of food to folks that attend. So feel free to come out if you're available, because then Thursday's next Thanksgiving, obviously, so that's this Thursday at the fifth district. They're gonna have their public safety meeting and then feed folks there, so feel free to join. With that being said, it is 9:38 p.m. I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner G Campbell. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Did you oppose, Commissioner? It's nice. Okay, I motion carry. I have it. Thank you so much. Y'all have the rest of your night.
Andy.